Hey YouTube, this is Peter Hall. So I'm going to be talking about the Notre Dame Fire and more specifically the multiple church fires that have been going on in France. I didn't even know about like all these other church fires until I heard about the Notre Dame church fires a couple of days ago. But apparently there's been like almost 900 church fires that have happened in France over the past year. I've got an article from the International Business or something, and I'm going to read it now. So here you go. Hey everyone, my name is Peter Hall. So I'm just decided to do an impromptu video. It's going to be about how CBS is advocating violence against so-called Nazis in their show called The Good Fight. This is a show that up until recently I had never heard about, but I've seen quite a few videos about the show, and I've seen like the clip in question where like this African American man says, "Is it okay to punch a Nazi unprovoked?" And then he goes into the spiel about how he was raised never to start fights, only to defend but never to attack, and then he ends his little sermonization with, "Yeah, it's time to punch a few Nazis, blah blah blah." Anyway, here's the clip, and also I want to talk about how like Ilhan Omar recently was dismissive of September 11th. Yeah, I know you're probably thinking that these two things aren't related, but hear me out. Ilhan Omar was recently Ilhan Omar was recently dismissive of like the 9/11 attack, saying that CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that Muslims are starting to lose their disabilities. So she was dismissive of 9/11, and now like you got AOC and other Democrats saying that we shouldn't question Ilhan Omar's American patriotism, or whether she really considers herself an American because of her remarks. But then you've got CBS and trying to incite violence against so-called Nazis again. But I'll show you the clip, and then I'm going to also show you a video of Ilhan Omar's statement after that.
Is it alright to hit a Nazi unprovoked? I was always taught to never throw the first punch, never instigate, defend, don't attack. But then I saw a video of the white nationalist Richard Spencer being punched in the face during an interview, and I realized Spencer was in a pressed suit, wearing a tie, being interviewed like his opinion mattered, like he should be considered part of the conversation, like neo-Nazism was just one political point of view. And then I realized there's no better way to show some speech is not equal. Some speech requires a more visceral response. It's like Overton's window. That's the term from which ideas are tolerated in public discourse. Well, Overton's window doesn't mean shit unless it comes with some enforcement. So yeah, this is enforcement. It's time to punch a few Nazis.
Was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
That was the clip posted Monday by a controversial Australian Twitter user. Yesterday, it was retweeted by Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw with the comment, "First member of Congress to ever describe terrorists who killed thousands of Americans on 9/11 as some people who did something. Unbelievable." New York Congressman Peter King is also outraged.
Absolute disgrace. I mean, this is an insult to everyone who was killed, murdered on September 11th.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was speaking at a fundraiser for CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations Los Angeles chapter, on March 23rd.
This is becoming a habitual manufactured outrage.
Hussam Elouche is the executive director of CARE LA.
She did not want to dignify these terrorists, and the topic about which she was talking about was CARE. She's talking about how CARE established a civil rights work, how the American Muslim community has been feeling since that horrific act.
Here is an extended clip of the comment.
Far too long, we have lived with the discomfort of being a second-class citizen. And frankly, I'm tired of it, and every single Muslim in this country should be tired of it. CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Alouche says people should watch the entire 20-minute speech.
If anything, that's probably a great speech praising why people come to America, why her parents decided to come as refugees, seeking liberty and justice.
Congressman King says he has not watched the full speech and says he doesn't need to.
You can't talk about it in such an abstract way. This was too human. This was blood and guts that was shed that day.
Well, this afternoon, Congresswoman Omar called this dangerous incitement given the death threats she faces and that her love and commitment to our country should never be in question. Late this afternoon, Congressman Crenshaw responded by tweeting that he never called her un-American or incited violence against her and that her comment is still unbelievable. Dick?
All right, Alice, thanks very much.
So, you've seen the clip from The Good Fight where that guy does this little sermonization about how, like, Nazis should be beaten up. And then, like, you also saw Ilhan Omar's statements about CARE, how it was founded after September 11th because some people did something and Muslims are losing their civil liberties. And then, like, we're not... It's okay for, like, a show on CBS to advocate violence against people who are Nazis, so-called, but, like, we can't question Ilhan Omar's sentiments about America, how she feels about being an American citizen, how she feels about living in this country. Fuck you, CBS. Fuck you, Ilhan Omar. As far as I'm concerned, you are a terrorist, you're a sleeper agent, and you're committing, like, cultural jihad against this country. You're not actually, like, going out and, like, doing, like, the violent jihadi acts of terrorism, but you're supporting the people that do, and, you're supporting people that, like, are trying to censor everyday American citizens from speaking their minds because of hate speech. So, fuck you. Okay, so, yeah, like I was saying in that article from the International Business Times, like, almost 900 churches in the last year have been vandalized, set on fire, or whatnot. Even, like, one church had, like, human shit spread on it. Like, these people are fucking animals, whoever is doing this. But the church is afraid to, like, speak out against it. That just shows how weak Christian leaders are. That just shows how weak, like, and like, it's not just Christianity, but, like Christianity is seen as the, religion of white Europeans, and obviously that's stupid because, like, religion has nothing to do with race. Like, there are people in the Middle East who are Christian, brown-skinned people who are Christian, there are Africans who are Christian, there are Asians who are Christian. Anybody can be Christian. It is not dependent on skin color, but yet Christianity is seen as a white people's religion. And Christianity actually sprang out of Judaism, and then it transferred to, like, the Gentiles, and, like, the Europeans, they're not Jews, they're Gentiles. So Christianity sprang out of Judaism, and then it spread to, like, Gentiles and the rest of the world. So Christianity is not a white religion, even though a lot of people seem to think it is. So yeah, but, like, religious leaders, they're being a bunch of fucking pussies, like, downplaying the vandalism. It's also just, like, an act of, like, hatred against white people. Like, I've already said that white Christianity is not a white religion, but a bunch of people think it is. So it's an act of hatred against Christianity. It's an act of hatred against white people. As I said, Paul Joseph Watson did a video where, like, he had, like, a bunch of pictures of, like, Facebook and Twitter posts and, like, stuff like that of people, like, celebrating the Notre Dame Fire and saying it was retribution for, like, French colonialism, etc., etc. And, like, he never actually said that Muslims were cheering the damage of the cathedral, but, you know, a bunch of people with Arabic-sounding names, and some of them actually posted in Arabic or whatever, were celebrating the fire. So yeah, A whole bunch of Muslims are fucking celebrating this. A whole bunch of SJW liberal fucktards are celebrating this. And fuck all of you, okay? Bye.